Hey everyone, in this video you will learn how to download Instagram profile picture using Python. Here we are going to create a graphical user interface where the user will enter the username of any Instagram ID and he will be able to download any profile picture by just simply clicking on the download button. So let's see how we can do it. You need to open your Python editor. Simply create a new Python file. I'll give name as main. So in order to create graphical user interface for our application, we need to import one module which is inbuilt, which help us to create GUI. Okay, so the module name is Tkinter. So we'll have to simply import it from Tkinter, import asterisk like this. So this particular module will help us to create graphical user interface very easily. Okay, so we just need to write 2 lines of code and our window will be ready. So we just have to create object of this tk class. So this tk class is a part of this module only. So we are simply creating object of it. So I'll give object variable name as root. Now if I run it, you can see there is no error, right? But we didn't see our window. So in order to see our window, we have to use one method which is present inside this tk class. That method name is main loop. So main loop method can be accessed with the help of this root object only. So we are writing root.mainLoop method. Okay, now if I will run this application, you can see our window is ready. Now we can provide title to our window. By default the title is tk, but we can change it. So again there is a method inside this tk class and we can access that method with the help of this root. So root.title, and here we need to pass the title in the form of a string, and the title would be Instagram profile pic downloader or anything of your choice. Okay, so now if I run it, you will see a title here. Let me drag this window. So right now the window size is very small, but once we will start adding things inside it, its size will automatically increase. Okay, so first thing is we need to add a title here, Instagram profile image downloader. Okay, something like this. So let's see how we can add a title here. So in order to add text on our screen, we need to create a label, and on that label we have to add the text. So firstly we'll create a title label here, and this label will be created with the help of a label class. So we'll simply use this label class. Then where you want this label class, we have to mention first thing here. So we want this label on our window only, so we are mentioning root object here. Then what should be the text on this label? The text should be Instagram profile image downloader. And then once you create the label, then you need to position it on your window. So if you'll run right now, you won't see that label because you have not positioned it. So we need to position it. So the way is we have to use one of the method of this label class, and that I can access with the help of this object. So I'll write title label dot grid method. Okay, and here by default, since this is the first label we are adding inside our window, so row value and column value will remain 0. So here if you want, you can mention row 0 and column 0 like this. Now if I run it, you can see we are getting our Instagram profile image downloader label here. Okay, so if you don't mention anything here, it's still you will see at row 0 and column 0 only, like this. Okay, so let me increase the font size of this text. Let me provide some font to this text. So in order to provide font, we'll have to use font keyword argument here. First thing that we need to provide is font style. So we can pass Times New Roman. Then we need to provide the size for the text, that I can set to 20, and then whether you want the text bold, italic or underline, that we have to pass. So this is how we define font for our text. Okay, now if I run it, so you can see the font is styling and size is changed and it is bold now. Okay, now after this we need to create one more label where the text will be enter username, like this. Okay, so we'll create a variable here, enter label. Okay, and this label will also be created with the help of a label class only. Here we will mention that we want this label in our window, so we'll pass root here. Then text for our label would be enter username, like this. And then again we need to provide font for our text, so this time the styling that I'm going to use is Arial. Size would be 10 and I'll make the text as bold. Now we need to again position it, so we'll write enter label dot grid method. And if you see at row 0 column 0 we already have this title label, and I want this enter username text to be displayed just below this, so the row value will change to 1 and column will still remain 0. Okay, now if I run it, you can see we are getting this enter username here. Let me increase the font size because this text looks so small. So what I'll do, instead of 10, let me just provide 15 to it. Let's see how it looks now. Yeah, much better now. Let me just do a change here. Instead of 20, let me provide it 30, and to this one let me provide 20, like this, so that it looks bigger in size. So this is how it looks now. I also want to provide spacing between these two texts, these two labels basically. So what I will do, I will add pad y value to this grid method and to this grid method. So here I'll simply pass pad y, which help in providing vertical spacing between two labels. So here I'll provide value as 10. Okay, similarly here also pad y equals to 10. Now if I run it, so you can see now we are getting spacing between these two labels. Similarly, if you want, you can provide horizontal padding to this particular label so that we can see little spacing at the corners. So to this grid method we'll pass pad x equals to 30 pixels. Let's see. So now you can see there is horizontal spacing here. Just below this enter username, we will create an entry field where the user will type the username, okay, of any Instagram ID. So let's create that. That can be created with the help of an entry class basically. So we'll use this entry class, and this entry class we want it inside our window, so we'll pass root object here. Okay, then we'll simply create its object so that we can access its method. Okay, so the object variable name can be entry field. Okay, next thing is we have to simply position it, so we'll write entry field dot grid method. So where we will position it this time, I want it just below this enter username label. Okay, so we'll mention row as 2 because at row 1 we already have this enter username label. So at row 2 we'll create this entry field and column will be 0 only. Okay, now if you run it, you can see we are getting our entry field here. So here the user can type the username of any Instagram profile. Like for example, if I type for my own, let me increase its width. Okay, so to increase the width, we'll go to this entry class and here we'll pass width as 40 or any value whichever you choose. So this is the size now. Let me also add font for this text which we are typing here. So I'll provide font equals to, first thing will be the styling, so it will be Arial only. Then the size of the text, so size I would choose as 15, and then I'll make the text as bold. So now you will see that the text size and styling is changed here. Okay, we can also provide some border to this text area. Okay, so here we'll write BD and we'll provide value of 5, like this. So see, now we have a border. and just below this entry field we will have to create a button, download button, where the user will click, okay, to download the profile image. So just below this entry field we'll create a download button. This is the variable name, and we can create a button with the help of a button class. Here again we need to mention where you want this button, so we want it on my root window. Next thing, what should be the text on this button? So the text should be download, like this. And now we can position it, so we'll write download button dot grid method, okay, and this time row value will be 3 and column will remain 0. I hope now you can understand why row 3, because at row 2 we already have this entry field. Okay, now if I run it, so you can see we are getting a download button here, but there is no spacing between this entry field and this download button. So to provide some vertical spacing, again we will have to use pad y here. So to this entry field and to this button, grid method will provide pad y equals to 10 pixels. Now if I run it, so you can see this is how it looks. Let's provide some font to this button text. So what I will do, to this button class will provide font equals to, the styling would be Arial, size for the text would be 15, and I'll make the text as bold. Now if I run it, so this is how our GUI looks like. So at the top, just before this title label, we can also add a logo image, okay, that will look a bit better. So what we can do, we can go to the web browser and you can search for flaticon.com, okay, and here you can search for Instagram, and once you search it, you can see there are so many logos here. So whichever you like, you can simply download that. So I'll prefer this one, okay, so I can simply click on it, and from here I can select the size. I'll go with 128 pixels, and then I'll simply click on this free download button. So once this image is downloaded, you can simply copy this image, okay. Once you copy this image, you can go to your code and simply right click and save it in the same folder where your main.py file is existing, like this. Once you have the image, now we can import this image in our code. So the way is, we have to use photo image class. So since we are adding this image just before this title label, so I'm writing the code here, okay. So firstly we need to import the image, so we'll use this photo image class, and here we'll mention the file name, which is instagram.png, okay, and we'll create its object. So the object name would be logo image. So now this image is represented by this variable, okay. So in order to add image on our window, we have to create a label, and on that label we can add image. Just like we added text, in the same way we can add image, okay. So I will have to create a label first of all. So logo label, and we'll use this label class, okay. This label has to be in our window, right? Then what will be the image? Image name would be logo image, right? Because this image is represented by this variable. After this, we just need to grid it. So we'll use logo label dot grid method, and here, since this is the first thing we want on our window, so we'll not mention row value and column value, because by default it will be 0 only, okay. And in case of title label, now it has to be at row 1, right? So we'll mention row 1 and column 0 here, okay, and this one would change to row 2, okay, and then this entry field will be changed to row 3, and this button will be changed to row 4, okay. Now if I run it, so you can see now we are seeing this logo also. So if you want, you can provide some vertical spacing. So to this grid method, we can pass pad y equals to 10. Now if I run it, so this is how our GUI looks now. Now let's work on the functionality part. So what we want, the user should enter the username of any Instagram ID and he has to click on this download button. So once the user clicks on this download button, that particular Instagram profile photo should be downloaded. Okay, so what I want whenever the user clicks on this download button, a function should be executed. Okay, so what I will pass here, command equals to function name. Okay, so I simply want to download image, so I'll simply name the function as download. You can name it anything. Okay, now we need to define it. As you can see, we are seeing this red line. So at the top, just after this import line, I'll write def download. So this is how we define function in Python. And let me print first of all, just to make you understand what is happening. So if I run the code, if I click on this download button, you will see hello will be getting printed here on the console, right? So what is happening when you are clicking on the download button, this function code is executing, right? So but we don't have to print anything. So we firstly have to get the username inside this function. So how can we get the username? We can get it with the help of entry field. So we'll write entry field dot get method, because the user will enter the username inside the entry field only, right? So we can get that and we can store in some variable username like this. And now to download the profile image, we will have to download one external module first of all. So you have to go to your terminal. Okay, here you need to type pip install insta loader like this. As you can see, it is already installed for me. Once you install it, what you have to do, you just have to simply import it. So you have to write import insta loader like this. Once you import it, then you have to create object of instaloader class. So the way is, you have to use this module instaloader class. Okay, and you have to assign it to a variable, just like we did in the case of tk assign root assign tk, right? So here also we created object of our tk class. In the same way, here we are creating object of our instaloader class, so that we can access the methods which are present inside this. Okay, so we'll give the name as insta like this, or any variable name. Once you create object of instaloader class, now you can access the methods of this class with the help of this variable. Okay, so coming back to our function, here what we'll do, we'll use this variable insta, okay, dot download profile method. Okay, and to this method we firstly have to pass the username. So we'll pass the username, and then we are only interested in the image, so we'll write profile pic only, and we'll set it to true like this. So now if I run it and show you if it is working fine or not. So I'll have to enter the username here. So suppose if I enter the username of my own Instagram ID, coding lifestyle for you. And by the way, if you are not following my Instagram, please follow it. So you can see a folder is created here, and if you'll go inside this folder, you can see this JPG image, and this is the profile image of my Instagram ID. If I show you, so you can see this is the profile image, right? So this is how we can download any profile image of any Instagram ID. Okay, so once the profile image is downloaded, I want to display a message box that profile image is successfully downloaded. So in order to show a message box, we'll have to import it. So the way is from Tkinter import message box. Okay, so once you import message box, now just after downloading the image, we can display a message box, show info. Okay, here first thing we need to mention is the title. So the title will be information or success. Okay, and then the message would be profile image is successfully downloaded like this. Okay, now if I run it and let me search some other username from Instagram here. So let me download profile pic of Elon Musk. So we'll search for Elon Musk here. Let's see what is the username of Elon Musk. So it's elon.ai. Okay, so we'll use this username here, elon.ai, like this. And once you click on this download button, you can see a success message box. Okay, profile image is successfully downloaded. Once you click OK and close this window, you will see a folder here, elon.ai. Once you open this folder, you will see the profile photo of it. Okay, so this is how this application will work. I hope you guys have understood it. If you liked it, click on the like button and let me know in the comment section if you want more projects like this. So thank you for watching.